We are here. We are live. Happy New Year. Happy 2023. Welcome to the industry, the first official episode in 2023. This is so exciting. So if you guys are joining us live, please say hello in the comments. I'm really excited to be hanging out with you guys today. If you are new inside of this group and it's your first time catching the industry live or maybe on the replay, welcome. We had a lot of new people actually join this Facebook group in the last couple of days because, shout out to Eric, who is filming me right now on my phone. Oh yes, okay, one other thing that we have that's brand new is we have an official post in this Facebook group, and it's the industry Q&A feed. This is gonna be the same feed pretty much forever. There's already comments on it. So if you have a question that you want me to address, or you have certain things that you just wanna know for yourself, for your coaching business, if you have a question that you want my opinion on or my expertise on, go post your questions and go crazy on that feed. That feed we're gonna leave there. And then so certain episodes will be Q&A based off of that feed. So I just wanna bring you value that is actually beneficial for you. So go crazy, be selfish on the feed, post all the questions that you want. I can't promise that all of them will be answered, but we do look at it and we really do value and appreciate when you just ask whatever you want to ask. And I know then how to help you better, both for this industry and in general with the work that I'm sharing with you guys. So that feed, I will also say, we do the replays as well on the podcast. So if you're not subscribed to my podcast, it's the Stephanie Ann Houston Show. So I know sometimes if you don't catch these live, it's probably easier to listen to the podcast. And we'll probably post the link later on. Jake also repurposes these videos on YouTube, and they're repurposed a little bit different than just watching this live. And I don't know about you guys, but when I consume content, sometimes I'm listening to the same content, but just because of how it's curated, I don't even realize that it's the same thing, but it lands differently. And so you might have already listened to some of these episodes in all different places and it was the same thing, but maybe it landed differently depending on how you were listening to it. So just a reminder for those things. But I think those are the main things. And if I forget something, I'll just tell you. So we don't have a guest today, but Jake has things. Actually, I'm just gonna keep ranting.
Yes.
I'm gonna start with a rant. I told my Instagram story earlier that I was feeling spicy, and Jake, I didn't tell you this, but I said, I'm feeling spicy. The industry is either gonna be spicy or canceled. So we're here. Okay, I'm gonna start with this, and then we'll see where we go on this episode. So how do I even wanna begin this? Because I don't wanna call people out. Okay. I just want to encourage you to start to ask better questions. If you're focusing on, or if your biggest concern or your biggest problem is like, oh my God, what are my brand colors? Or oh my God, what is my niche? Or oh my God, who should I be talking to, or who should I not be talking to? Like, if your biggest concern is stuff like that, I'm just gonna say it like it is, you're gonna stay very small. Like, even when I was starting, I wasn't focused on what are my brand colors? Oh my God, does this picture match this picture? I didn't even care about my Instagram bio. Like, if your biggest problem is worrying about what your Instagram bio is, no offense, like, you're gonna stay really small. If your biggest concern is what is my tagline, you're playing in a very different realm than the realm that I'm playing in. Even at the beginning, I was focused on my confidence. How can I be loud? How can I be seen? I was focused on reaching more people. I was focused on my energy. I was focused on my mindset. I was focused on my money mindset. I was focused on investing in myself. I was focused on getting in big rooms, having bigger conversations. Like, I was focused on bigger picture stuff, even at the beginning when I should have been focused on the small details. Those small details, if you're only focusing on those, will keep you small. We are, yes, building businesses, and yes, you do have to create good content, and you do have to know who you're speaking to, and you do have to have a brand, But if you're only focused on those things, you're gonna stay small. We're in an industry that it's gonna work really well for you if you focus on leadership, if you focus on making big moves, if you focus on being seen. And when I say being seen, I mean like being loud. What are you about? Who are you? Like, I want people to think bigger. It is 2023. Your coaching business has the ability to create multi-millions this year, but it's not going to come from you focusing on little problems. I want you to focus on what matters, and what matters is big energy. You can create anything. We know how to post content. We know how to sell, like all these things. You're going to stay small if you're just focused on those things. I want you to get into rooms that expand you. I want you to make bigger moves. I want you to do bigger things. I want you to think outside the box. Like, that's what people want to buy. That's who people want to hire. Leadership, people who are brave, people who are courageous. Like, you didn't start this, I hope not, I didn't start this to worry about what is my niche. I didn't start this to worry about, oh, is that color of pink the perfect color of pink for my brand? Like, I started this to feel so big, to feel like I'm changing the world, to help people, to have big experiences, to do big things that I used to never even know were possible. Like, I just want you to get into a bigger energy that's more expansive, because you're going to be more fulfilled, and that's what's actually going to create something bigger. And so, yes, all the small things matter, but if those are your biggest problems and that's the thing that you want to ask me, like, no offense, I feel almost like insulted. Like, I want to have bigger conversations with you. I want to expand you more. And I just encourage you to think outside of the box. And I know that sometimes that's uncomfortable, but that's the point. Have conversations that you don't expect are important conversations. Like, get beside people who are too far ahead of you. That's how you grow quicker. These little details matter, but if it's your biggest concern, you're just going to stay small. So I don't know if there's feedback on that or whatever, but I just, like, I want people to just go, like, when I am speaking right now, or when I think about my own business and what I'm doing, like, if I have an energy in my body that's just like, oh, it feels big. And like, I don't get that feeling if I'm thinking about what's the tagline for my offer. Like, those things matter, but it shouldn't take all your energy and it shouldn't take all your focus. So that's how I feel today. But also, you know what? I need to say this, and those of you who get it will get it. Or you can look at my profile. There is a reel, and it's the Kim Kardashian reel with Kourtney. And it's when Kim is like, I want you to go up, or women need to work. You guys know the reel I'm talking about? And then Kourtney, her sister, is like, yeah. It's kind of like, whenever people are like, yeah, 100%, I always think of that reel, because it's one thing to be like, yeah, but it's another, like, I want you to go, like, live that. I don't want you to just listen to me and be like, motivational, thumbs up. I want you to actually go do it. That's a reel, maybe. Okay. That's how I feel today. There's two things I wanted to share. One of the biggest things, I was like, this is the year of staying in your own lane even more. I said, like, no more comparing, no more what is he doing, what is she doing, no more like, oh, they're making that much. Like, get in your lane, do the thing that you want to do, build the business that you want to build. Like, this is the year of being beside people who are killing it and cheering each other on and supporting each other. But the way to trailblaze and the way to actually feel happy in your business, truly happy and fulfilled, and the way to build something with insane results is being laser focused in your own lane. What are your goals? What do you want your business to be? What are your offers? What makes you actually happy? So the goal is to be a collective in the coaching industry and support each other, but the goal is also you're laser focused on what actually matters to you, not getting tripped up with what other people are doing. You want me to go there? Okay. Well, that I was just being humorous. So I just think that there's and whenever I make statements like that, I want to make it so clear. And for those of you who don't know, my word of the year is discernment. So discernment is the vibe. But when I make statements like that, it's less about the number of like the price or the financial investment, and it's more about the mindset. So it's like, what's the difference between the person who's investing big and going all in versus the person who's so overthinking a lower investment? It's not necessarily what the investment is, it's the level of courage that I'm talking about. And so I'm just calling out and encouraging and wanting people to lead with actual courage and bravery. But not only that, I just want to remind people that to build an actual business, there needs to be investments. And I think there's so many people that struggle with that because maybe they're not a natural entrepreneur. I just think like people who have common business sense know that to build a business, you have to invest. And I think maybe for whatever reason, nothing is good or bad, right or wrong. It just is. Like people who struggle to make investments that are required to build a business, you're just going to stay small. And it's like, that's my lovingly humorous way to call that out, but also just educate people to think that you're not just a coach trying to build a business, you're an entrepreneur. And if you have a desire to build a multi six-figure or seven-figure business, investments just need to happen. And so I know for me, it's like when I make investments with my entrepreneur hat on, my CEO hat on, I'm not as much in fear or in my emotions because I know, like, Steph, I'm a CEO, I'm building something big. In order for me to build and actually get the result, there just needs to be investments. And so that's kind of my humorous way of saying that. Like, if you're constantly looking at investments as expenses or looking at like how little can I spend to get as much as possible, like that's just not the same game. That the people who are investing big and long term are seeing different results because they're actually making investments that build their businesses long term. And so they're getting those bigger ROIs. And so that's my humorous way of calling that out, but that's really what I mean is like I want people to think smarter when it comes to building businesses, and you're gonna have to put your emotions to the side a little bit. You're gonna have to put your fear to the side. Like everyone who's built a business knows that there's gonna be risks. So yeah. Oh my God. On topic of that. Yeah. Oh yeah. So a year ago I paid, it was about $400,000, and that was the conversion for a year in my mentorship and that's so funny because a year ago today, I guess I did that. And in December I paid, it was about 700,000 Canadian. So her prices have gone up and I paid that. I mean, what I want to say to this is a few different things. Like I know that everyone's journey is different, and I never tell people to do anything like that you don't want to do. But I know that my investments, like the amounts of money that I put in to my business and like the long-term commitments, there's something to be said about that and the results that I have today. And so I do that for me. And since the beginning, it has always paid off. And if I didn't do that since the beginning, I wouldn't be where I am. But I want to make it very clear. I'm not saying that you have to spend money to make money. These are big investments for my mentorship. This is why I talk about mentorship all the time. I talk about long-term mentorship. The person I am today is a result of my courage, my risks, my ability to invest, and my ability to say yes to long-term commitments. It's a very different thing to say yes to a year in advance versus I'm just going to say yes to this one class that is tomorrow. And I'm not disregarding like a one-time training that's a low cost. I just want you guys to understand that it's a very different thing. And this is why I encourage long-term, high-level, whatever that means to you, investments, is because it's like an insurance policy. Right? It's like you saying, I'm investing for a year or two or whatever in advance. I'm committed. I'm all in. I'm setting myself up for support. I'm setting myself up for success. I always have something to rely on. And so that has always been the main thing for me when it comes to these big investments and long term. It's like, that's me saying to myself, I'm holding myself accountable for a year in advance. Most people struggle doing this because people don't have the bravery to do that, because it's like, well, I don't even know what I'm doing this month in my business. But when I started investing years in advance, I didn't even know what I was doing that month in my business, but that's the thing that held me accountable to build something big. So I would just look at that. If you're like constantly just doing short term, your business is just like little step, little step, little step, little step. But when you invest longer term, it's like you're expanding, like I'm gonna meet this level of leadership, I'm gonna meet this level of success because I just committed to it. And so that is a big piece of it. People think that I just throw around big numbers for the hell of it, but it's much more than that. And I know this year I want to do a better job talking about what that actually means so people can understand it and therefore actually make a change that's going to create an incredible result in your life and your business. So it's the financial thing. Like when I see those numbers and the investments, I'm like, well, of course I'm making what I'm making now. I'm willing to build a business of that caliber. But if I would have stayed like small, it wouldn't have been as expansive, and it's not the same kind of support. So crazy that was a year ago and here we are. So yes. Coaches, that was my first prediction for last year. Coaches are done tolerating shit. I'll expand specifically on what I meant by that. And I was thinking about that, or something along the lines of this morning, actually. When I think about, or I look at very successful coaches who financially are very successful, they have a big brand, they're very big. They have taken the risks, they've done the work required to build that level of success. And so when they build something of that caliber and then people come in their world who are out of integrity or defaulting or not following whatever, it is extremely frustrating for someone to have that in their world when that person was willing to do the work and take the risks required to build what they build. And so part of me saying that was just like, people are not going to coaches are no longer going to let anyone in their world who don't match the standard that is required to build what you want to build, but also match the standard of what they were willing to do. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I've done to be able to build this, and I hold a high standard for myself, and I don't expect everyone to have the same standard as me because I just have we all have different goals, but there's a level of integrity, there's a level of follow through, there's a level of commitment that is required to especially work with me personally when you know what I mean? And so I'm doing that out of service for people who come into my world who own that level, right? Like I was saying this on a training yesterday, the people in my mastermind are completely committed. They're all in, they do the work, they show up, they get coaching, they apply, and those are the people. And that's why it's like now there's an application to come in my mastermind, not just to protect me, but to protect the people who are actually using the space and committed to the space. So I want to make sure the people that come in have that same energy. And then, so it's just of service for everyone. So this is your sign to like level up, but then also level up the standards of the people that you're allowing in your world. It's only of service, but so many people are afraid to do it because it's like, oh, if I increase the standards, people aren't going to come in. But if you don't do that, then you're just going to let people in and you're not going to have any standards, and that's not the way.
Second one.
Yeah.
There will be a rise in education/content around how to be coached.
Yes. And I mean, this is so spot on with Karma, the program that's coming up, but I believe, and I think that this is a high level thing. This is not just a beginner thing. I think that I know I'm going to be doing this in my offers. You'll see this very soon. And I encourage, if you're ready to do this as well, is content, trainings, programs, whatever it may be, to help people learn how to be mentored. This is not just how to build a coaching business and sell. This is not even just how to coach. That we need to learn how to be better clients. Let me know if you guys agree with this in the comments. We need to teach people how to succeed in our programs, in our mentorship. And I think that this should be paid experiences, is teaching people leadership, teaching people discernment in coaching, teaching people how to make the best out of their mentorship, teaching people how to actually sync up to their mentor and be able to like get to their level, right? These are all things that I'm going to be talking about. This is what my new program Karma is about. But I just think this is so important because my focus over the last 5 years, speaking of making that big investment, has been, how can I be a better student for me? How can I be a better client? I actually focus on being the best student and being the best client, and that has made me a better coach. That has made me a better business owner. But so many people don't think about that, and so I'm just excited I know you guys are going to see this in my world, is to teach more soft skills, because these soft skills on how to be a client, how to be a student, are required to build something very successful, financially successful. But these are also the skills required to be able to lead a team, to be able to communicate, all of these different things that I think are overlooked. But these are actually the things required to build a big company, if that's what you're desiring to build.
Sweet. Your next one that you predicted, traditional pro marketing style of launching is long gone.
Yeah, and I mean, it has been long gone since I started my coaching business. Like, I just think if you haven't caught up yet, like, the traditional launches are gone, the like webinar thing is gone, the paid funnels, like, it's like stuff like that. People aren't even buying that way. People are buying by feeling connected to your content, feeling connected to you by following your daily content on social media, seeing you post about something and buying through the link. That's just how people are buying. So if you haven't caught up with that yet, it's time to catch up with that. But it's just the way that I think social media in general is changing, even outside of the coaching industry. Like, you follow a brand of a product on Instagram, you see their content and you buy. It's the same thing with coaches. So building relationships is more important, and content is more important than ever, as opposed to like these long, complicated, boring launches that no one even wants to be part of.
This one is well, we've been talking about it for a while, but people want a home for their mentorship.
Yeah, people want a home for their mentorship. What I mean by that is people want to be in a long-term commitment, kind of what I was saying before, because it is a representation of an insurance policy. To just know that you have that support there for a year, 6 months, or 2 years, or whatever it may be, is a very settling feeling. I'll speak from my own experience. Like, it's just, my relationship with my mentor would not be what it is today if I only did a 2-month commitment. That's impossible. Mentorship takes time to build. A home, a family takes work. It's a relationship. It's the same thing in mentorship. So stop looking for quick fixes when you're hiring a mentor, and look to hire someone who you feel like you can build a relationship with. That's where you're gonna actually create a transformation, and that's actually where your results are going to skyrocket. I'll use some of my clients, Felicity, for example. Like, a year ago, maybe now, our 1 year anniversary is soon, but at the beginning of last year, she found me, she hired me, she committed to the full year, and then halfway through last year, she committed to all of this year. There's a frequency that happens when you commit long term, and it's a settling feeling in our relationship. There's no rush of like, oh I'm gonna end in a month, so let me ask everything, or I'm gonna end in 2 months, and so I need to make sure I get all these things. It's like, I'm here to grow, I'm here to settle. This example of how her financial results and just the way that she has grown so much is because she committed long term, and there's a solid energy in our relationship that there's no rush. And so obviously this looks different for everyone depending on investment level or whatever, but there's something about this, and I've lived this experience myself, and I keep seeing more and more people who are really growing. What is a common denominator? They have a home foundation for their mentorship.
Amazing.
Amazing.
One more. We've got,
okay.
So I'll just talk a little bit louder, but people may hopefully understand that hitting 6-figure cash months, or insert random shiny object income goal here, actually has very little to do with being an energetic match.
Yes, okay. So what I was alluding to, and I think we've come a long way in the industry, but I think still people need to grasp onto this, is you have to do more than just believe you can make money. You have to do more than just be like, I am a match for money to build something. You need to have the foundations in place. I know you believe, I know you're excited, I know you can feel it, but those things don't actually generate money. The things that generate money are the practical things. So I believe in the strategy, and I believe in the mindset, because the mindset is what keeps you consistent. But if you just have the feelings and the vibes and the motivation, but you're not applying it practically every single day, and you're being consistent, it's just not going to It's just not going to work. And so I think a lot of people, this is a whole big conversation, but a lot of people self-sabotage because they're like, I just feel it. I just believe it. But you're self-sabotaging because you know that's not enough. I'm wondering if anyone listening to this live or on the replay is guilty. You know that believing it and feeling it is not enough. You know that there's things that need to be in place. And for a lot of people, the actions and the practical are more scary than feeling it. And so it's almost like people just want to like feel it and that feels safe, but you know that's not enough. I want you to prioritize this year the energy, being in mentorship, focusing on your mindset 100%, the soft skills, but I want you to also focus on applying those soft skills to the practical things to be consistent, to actually make money. Boom. We're done. That's a reel.
So you've already talked about being a client. So what kind of client are you and how does that change how you coach?
Really good question. The way that I've been a client, I'm going to be making a post about this, and this is just like plugging in the program Karma here. This is why you should all sign up for Karma. But the evolution of how I've been a client over the years has changed based off of where I'm at. So at the beginning, it was much more me asking all the things, right? I had a lot more questions at the beginning because I didn't have the answers. So it was more of like question focused, like help me do this, how do I do this? And I think there's a season where we just have a lot of how-to questions, or you just don't know the answers to certain things and it's the first time that you have access to get them, and there's a lot of that. But in general, I would say that I've always been a very self-led client. I know that my results are my responsibility. I know that it is my responsibility to bring things forward inside of the container. I've never expected my mentor to bring something to me without me bringing it up. Very self-led, radical responsibility for my results. I've always been someone that's just more focused, and this is just my personality. Like, I'm more about potent answers and conversations than needing it to be a certain period of time. So I don't remember the last time I've had an hour-long call with my mentor. It's been years now. At the beginning, that was required because I had a lot to ask in that space. But now it's more of like when something comes up, I plug in, I get the answer. And so it's more of just plugging in, and that's more of like the mentorship container. But I think the most important things to share for everyone listening is you take responsibility of how you show up in the container. Lead yourself. If you don't know, and I say this to all my clients, like if you don't know how to use it, even after I've explained how to use it, ask. Because then you can say, I don't know how to use this container. Can you help me? Some of my clients have done that. And even just asking that question enhances the experience of the container. But I think I'm a great client. I'm so to the point. I'm easy. I take responsibility. I don't suck the life out of my coaching container. It feels very fluid. I think I'm a very fun person to mentor. So that's my answer.
So what advice would you give to somebody striving to be a better client? You kind of touched on it
Yeah.
a little bit, but kind of speaking more directly to,
Yeah,
to that person.
I think, and I say this in my mastermind specifically, but I say like trust yourself on how you want to show up. Everyone is a different kind of coach and everyone is a different kind of client. So trust yourself. If you're the person that likes to plug in all the time and ask questions and that's like from a clean energy, amazing. That's how it works. If you're someone who's more of like, you just like to lean back and listen to things and absorb, trust that. So trust your own relationship with your coach. That's what I want to say. Just because someone has one kind of relationship and someone else has another kind of relationship with their mentor doesn't mean that that's the right way. It's their way. I've had people compare their relationships with me to my relationships with my other clients. And the first thing I say is like, don't compare. My relationship with that client is different because all relationships are different. So there's no right or wrong way. Every way is perfect if you just be yourself. And I think but part of the coaching transformation is being in a new relationship or being in coaching. And there's like that, how do I work it? Or how do I do this, right? It's like that awkward feeling. But part of that is part of the transformation because those are the soft skills of humility, of communication, of having to ask a question that maybe you're uncomfortable to ask and have a really open-hearted, vulnerable conversation. Like that's part of it. So really just be yourself. And if you're not sure how to use a container, ask. Cool.
Straightforward.
Yes.
So what did you look for when you were hiring a coach? And like, how did you find your coach? And how did you know it was going to be a good fit for you?
Yeah. Honestly, I was really just looking for someone who was doing what I wanted to do and could teach me how, but also someone who had similar values as me. You know what I mean? And so that's where it was like, I wasn't just thinking short term. I was thinking of like, I want to find someone and work with someone that I know I can grow with, and that person is already at a place where I want to be, and I can tell that that person is still growing, and then I want to be on the journey with them because they're still growing and I'm going to grow, and then it's like you constantly get to grow together. So I really always looked for a feeling, a relationship. It was less about like, oh, I need this person to teach me this thing very quickly. I've always had it with a long-term goal in mind.
More people have started to go online. It's, you know, the way of the future, the big Zoom boom people have been calling it. But so what does that look like going forward? Like, how do you see yourself adjusting to that, or the industry itself kind of thing?
Well, I mean, I think one, it's like, it's not just the industry, it's the world. You know what I mean? Like more online, all the things. I think that there's going to be more and more opportunities to create different kinds of offers based through social media and technology. I mean, for example, everyone's doing like the Voxer broadcast offer now, where it's not a Voxer chat, but it's a broadcast, and it's people just doing like radio trainings or radio offers or things like that. Like, I think more coaches are going to have personalized their own apps. I think people are going to have more interactive experiences in their containers just because of how social media and technology is advancing, but also how it's creating our way to communicate and help each other just be more efficient. So I don't know exactly what it's going to look like, but I just feel like there's going to be more opportunities for innovation with offers and easier access that's still very efficient for everyone involved.
So did marketing ever feel like work to you? Did you work up to it's easy? So when did it start to feel fun?
I think when you get out of your head, it starts to feel fun. When you're in your head thinking about what exactly do I say, or what do I say so someone buys, or what's the perfect post, of course that's going to feel awful. So maybe at the beginning, when I didn't have as much confidence, in my mind, I was there. But when I built confidence and just through experience and practice, then it started to become more fun. And right now, all of my content, my branding, the way that I write about my offers feels like just flow. So the big piece, I think, for everyone is as you build your confidence and through experience, your content and your marketing becomes better because you're not in your head. But when you're so worried about it needs to be perfect, or I need people to buy, you're out of alignment and you're going to water it down, and of course it feels like work. Look at content creation, even look at writing about your offers as fun, as expression, and it will not only land better, but it will feel easier to do. So, you know, I've always loved content creation since before I started my business, but at the beginning I put pressure on myself to do it perfectly, and when I got through that phase of no longer putting pressure on myself, then it just became, this is so fun. No pressure involved.
Sweet.
Cool. We killed it.
That's all I got, yeah.
We killed it. I
30
wanted
minutes of straight talk.
I wanted to have a very like potent first episode for the year to just kind of like touch on some things that were just on my heart, but also obviously very valuable, but for you guys to just feel like I want people to feel like this, like snap, like boom, let's go, like the vibe of the beginning of the year. So I hope you guys loved it. Cool. Okay. Well, this was first episode of the year. I'm so happy that you guys were here, whether it's live or on the replay. Don't forget about the Q&A feed if you want to ask questions and collaborate in that kind of way. The feed is inside of the group. But thank you guys so much for being here. I will see you guys next week. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Bye, guys.